Hello everybody, Dr. K.K. Agarwal here, President of HeartCare Foundation of India and Confederation of Medical Association of Asia and Oceania. Welcome to this academic feast. Over the last many months, everybody has been talking about building up the immunity. Today we'll talk about specific role of vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D in building up the immunity pre, during, and post COVID era. I have with me Dr. Rajesh Chavla, who is a former president of Delhi Medical Association, pulmonologist, critical care specialist, head of critical care at Apollo Hospital, Delhi, and actively involved in critical care activities, the critical care associations, and whatnot. But today we are going to talk very basics. But before we talk very basics, let me give some basic introduction that this virus is preventable. Therefore, our job should be not to allow the virus to enter inside my body. Therefore, we have 4 natural vaccines. We have the 4 natural vaccines are, we have masking, we have hand hygiene, we have, apart from that, we have physical distancing, and then we have an oral rinse with povidone iodine. So there are 4 preventive vaccines available with us. If we do not allow this virus to enter my body, yes, these 4 vaccines needs to be used. If it enters my body through the nose, eyes, or the mouth, I can still kill it before it gets established in my throat, theoretically, again by using steam or by using povidone iodine gargles, or if I am on hydroxychloroquine prophylaxis. Hydroxychloroquine stops the entry of the virus within the body. But once the virus enters the body, it has multiple options. If my T cell, B cell immunity is good, the virus enters the cell, taken up by the macrophages, is killed. Nothing happens to me. I never come to know that I had an infection. No antibodies are formed. That means I have a very strong immunity. Nothing may happen to me. Now, the virus may also enter my body, enter into the blood, go to the dendritic cells, comes to the T cell, goes to the B cell, goes to the plasma cell, produces antibodies. So if my immunity is very good, I may end up in forming antibodies without getting a disease. You call them as asymptomatic antibodies positive, provided my antibodies are good. If my antibodies are good on day 1, the virus may also produce interferon 1. That interferon 1 may convert and produce gamma interferon. And this gamma interferon may kill the virus if my immunity is good. So therefore, if my immunity is good, I may develop a disease, I may develop antibodies, or I may not develop a disease. Now I come back to my immunity is slightly on the lower side. This gamma interferon then will be producing tissue necrosis factor that will cause inflammation in the body, and I get day 1 illness. Day 1 illness, which is the first cytokine wave, not the crisis. I will develop some symptoms. That means my body is not being able to tackle the tissue necrosis factor. And this TNF alpha will cause inflammation. So one thing why I need a good immunity is, and that good immunity I want is that immunity that does not allow TNF blocker to cause infection. And we know there are natural TNF blockers like haldi, curcumin, etc. There are natural TNF blockers in our body. Then this virus enters in my body on day 3. If interferon is not formed, then It will produce, macrophages will produce NLRP, and this virus will produce thymus helper 1 cells, which will produce IL-6, IL-1 beta, IL-18, IL-8, and directly bradykinin, and that causes severe inflammation in my body. Now remember, why I'm talking about this is that all these reactions will occur if my immunity in my body is not built up. Therefore, it is very important for me to prevent entry of the virus. And if the virus enters my body should say, so what? I will tackle it. And for that, we require a good innate and acquired immunity. Innate immunity is dependent on my thymus cells, thymosin alpha, thymus hormones. It is dependent on my proper formation of T cells and B cells, and that is my innate immunity. And adaptive immunity is my acquired immunity based on the infections I have got. Have I got previous any infections or not? Today, again, we are talking about innate immunity building up my body. For that, I need all 6 stays, 7 colors. I need all supplements. I need all vitamins, all micronutrients. So, and there has been a lot of discussion on everything. People talk about selenium, people talk about Ayurvedic preparations. Again, we are concentrating today on the role of vitamin C. Why vitamin C? Because vitamin C is linked with respiratory infections. We are talking about zinc because one vitamin and one supplement which has come with COVID is zinc. Zinc is preventing at every step of the virus. And third is vitamin D. And lot of literature is coming the role of vitamin D in COVID. And with that, I start with Dr. Rajesh Chawla to give some introductory remarks before we start discussing the subject. You have to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Dr. K.K. Agarwal. You know, this is a well-known that whenever you get infection in your body, it is the fight between the microorganism and your body. And whosoever wins, that results in if the infection wins, it causes the damage to the lung and the symptoms. And if your body has a good immunity, you are able to kill that virus or a bacteria or any other microorganism. The lot of understanding about the immunity is still not known, but whatever we know, the basics Dr. Agarwal has already told you, that it is the innate immunity which is very important at present, because we do not had the infection with the COVID-19, the people who didn't get these infections. So in the current scenario, we are talking a lot about immunity because immunity does play a role. And as he has said, the symptomatology of COVID-19 can vary from an asymptomatic unknown patient to a fulminant who goes on a ventilator. So such is a wide range. And of course, once you get infection, it is your immunity which will determine that what severity of disease you get it. He has enumerated that there are certain factors which can determine the immunity. If you normally sleep proper time, you take enough sleep, this will build up immunity. You take proper diet, like he said, all the 7 colors, and do not have just one vegetable all the time. So, or one fruit all the time. You need to have the different nutrients. They are present in different, which can also help. So, and you know, all these things and your stress level, you know, if you are stressed, the functions of your defensive cells goes down. If you are not stressed, they work fine. So it is important that you should take care of yourself properly, eat properly, and try to be stress-free. So these are the things in your control and you should do it. So now we are going to talk about certain things which probably may have a role in increasing the immunity, and we should do it.
So come back to vitamin C. from ages together, whether I prescribe or not, the patient will come back and say, I have flu and I am on vitamin C. I have a respiratory illness and I am on vitamin C. And I'm not even talking about, they will not even listen, talk to us whether I should take it or not. Vitamin C has in a dose of 500 milligram and has been known to be an antioxidant effect and reduces inflammation. And this disease has taught a lot to us about the inflammation. So how do you justify giving as a routine the role of vitamin C in COVID, pre, during, and post-COVID?
As you said, the dose is 500, but daily recommended allowance for a normal person, you need to take vitamin C about 90 milligram every day and 75 milligram for female and 90 from male. And if you're a smoker, then you require about 30 milligram from extra. Normally we get whatever we eat, fruits, etc., we get it. But if you give as a medicine, then the recommended dose is at least 500 milligram per day. The role of vitamin C in enhancing immunity, as he was talking, has been of a very particular interest. The antioxidant property of vitamin C can decrease the inflammation, and this will help reducing the oxidative stress and prevention of various disease and conditions like diabetes and other metabolic diseases. Vitamin C also accentuates the barrier functions by rendering the skin healthy and boosting your collagen formation. And the cells which fight the organism, like the neutrophil cells, so it activates the number of neutrophil function like increased chemotaxis, that means which attracts the microorganisms, increase the ingestion of these microorganisms by these defensive cells, enhanced lysozyme mediated non-oxidative killing, protection against the superoxide anion radical. You must have heard about it. And these are the various, I will not go too much of into detail. It promotes the growth and spread of lymphocytes, which in turn, we have seen that there is a lymphopenia. So this drug promotes the growth and spread of lymphocyte, which in turn increases the circulating antibodies, and they prevent against the pathogen invasion in the body. So evidence also suggests, we have been using very high doses. You'll be surprised in a sepsis patient. Nowadays, there are a lot of studies where we've used up to 2 to 10 grams of, we are also doing a study on vitamin C where we are using such a high dose in patients who have a severe illness, sepsis, because it has been seen it can reduce inflammation, and even one of the studies showed it decreases the mortality. So these are in a brief overview of the effect of the vitamin C. And as I said, it plays quite a good role in immune function, metabolic, enzymatic, non-enzymatic functions. And I've already told that this is found in the fruits, particularly in the citrus fruit. The other function of vitamin C includes the wound healing. It not only is relevant to this, it helps there also, prevention of atherosclerosis, cardiovascular disease, and preventing the free radical damage. And so it has a very wide range of the functions. And they have also seen that when you give a vitamin C, as I was saying, it improves the lung function of these patients who are critically ill or a ventilator. High doses when given, it improves the functions of the lung. So it has a very wide range of functions, and this modifies the susceptibility to various bacterial and viral infections. So a lot of people are taking nowadays vitamin C, and this is based on this theory that if you take it, probably you decrease the susceptibility to bacterial and viral infection causing harm to you. And even in cold, previously every doctor used to prescribe vitamin C for cold. And there also it has been seen it decreases the duration and intensive severity of common cold. And also it has shown the effect on pneumonia. So it has a lot of benefits. If I summarize, that it has at immune level, it increases the function of the defensive cells, and it has been seen on the function level, improves the lung function, improves the skin functions, and decreases the susceptibility of a person to various infections. Dr. Agarwal.
So whether you believe in Ayurveda or in modern medicine, vitamin C is indispensable in this era. Even Ayurveda talks about a natural vitamin C, but there you don't know how much dose is coming. And a dose of, during the pneumonia or a sepsis, a dose of up to 10 grams is impossible without a supplement. So therefore, vitamin C, how to remember? A, this virus causes inflammation, apart from the antiviral, and this inflammation is hyperinflammation. This is immune-mediated inflammation. If inflammation is not controlled, it causes high fibrinogen level and D-dimer, and that causes most of the mortality. Every step should be taken to reduce that inflammation in the body. You cannot give anti-inflammatory steroid for a longer period of time. And now we are seeing a long COVID syndrome, which is COVID manifestations lasting for 3 months after the COVID virus has attenuated, non-replicable, and you can still have presence of the RT-PCR positive for up to 3 months. Therefore, there is an importance for looking for a supplement, nutrition, along with drugs to take care of post-COVID inflammation. Therefore, that's what Dr. Rajesh Chawla has said, that vitamin C will always be a role in a post-COVID inflammation for 3 months. And when we talk about inflammation and injury, remember 2 words which Dr. Rajesh Chawla has said, and you will always be correct. Remember 2 words, free radicals, and 2 is SOD, superoxide dismutase. Free radicals injures, SOD improves. So most of the drugs and supplements, somewhere or the other, will work at the level of free radicals, and there can be lots of free radicals, including O3, that means nascent oxygen, and many more such may be there. But remember that what we are talking about is reducing the inflammation post-COVID, during COVID in much higher dose, because now you are dealing with acute, hyperacute inflammation. There the dose may be more. Now let me come back to pre-COVID. That means prevention of respiratory illnesses and prevention of COVID both. There, Dr. Chawla has said the daily recommended doses are slightly on the lower side. But there, Dr. Chawla, if a patient continues 500 milligram, is it going to harm as a prevention in the COVID era?
Yeah, sorry, what did you say? Sorry.
I said in the COVID era, should I continue taking 500 milligram even as a preventive medicine, apart from when I get it?
Absolutely. You should continue to take it because, as I said, it decreases your susceptibility to getting infections. And this, not only this, I mean, you may take little less dose, even 500 is not a, for 3 to 6 months taking, whatever minimum role it may have, it will definitely be helpful even if you get COVID.
So one thing is clear about vitamin C, and that is it has a definite role before, during, and after. Now let me come back to the role of vitamin D. In India, we have 85% of us are vitamin D deficient. In India, we know the daily requirement is slightly higher on the other side. And vitamin D is very, very, very important in our body at every step. It has both bone and non-bone effects. What is the role of vitamin D in infections?
See, you know, this vitamin C, D, and zinc, they all together, they have seen that they have a great role in reducing the incidence of pneumonia. You know, they have seen that the individual hospitalized for community acquired pneumonia, so this may improve the respiratory function, which I already said. There have been 3 trials where they've seen the vitamin C reduces the incidence of pneumonia by almost 80%. So there is a great role of these in when you use these products. But vitamin C and vitamin D again have a similar kind of role in these patients when they are given together. They even they have seen that complex need of the immune system is A, D, C, E, B6, B12, folate, copper, iron, zinc, and selenium. So all these are required. But out of these, vitamin C, D, and zinc, these are the three things which you require for your lung and for the others. Zinc and vitamin C is also important for CNS functioning. Zinc is involved in the neurotransmission signal from acetylcholine, catecholamine, serotonin, prostaglandin receptors. Zinc supplementation improves the neurological recovery rate in patients in stroke, like in patients of even COVID, there are neurological symptoms and has a positive effect on the memory. And they've seen it. It has also a role in the prevention of pneumonia in children. And vitamin D, as you were saying, is a powerful immunoregulator. It acts as a potential adjuvant in protecting and treating patients with respiratory viral infections, who typically, as he said, most of the population in India have a lower vitamin D. Vitamin D increases the antiviral defenses, so it acts synergistically with vitamin C and zinc in preventing the respiratory infection. If you ask me what is the role of vitamin D along with zinc and vitamin C has act synergistically, means they increase the functions of each other to prevent the respiratory infections. And it is now, there is a evidence, not very big evidence, but there is an evidence that micronutrient supplementation can be used to protect against the acute viral respiratory tract infections. That is the reason you've seen that every prescription of COVID-19 contains the zinc and the vitamin C, and should take also the vitamin D. You know, vitamin D, we get it from the sun, but in India, pollution, they say though the rays which are required to make vitamin D are not there. So probably that is also one of the reasons, even if people who are exposed, they also have a vitamin D deficiency. And you know, as a chest physician, so commonly people get chest pains, and there is because of the weak bones, and then also you are very sure that the vitamin D is deficient. So vitamin D is extremely important. Everyone, leave aside corona, if you get 20 people tested, almost 17 would have a low vitamin D. So it's very important to get vitamin D supplement normally also, as well as along with vitamin C and zinc in this infection era which we are facing nowadays. Dr.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a slide जो मैं share करना चाह रहा हूँ, because बहुत सारे लोग Facebook पे भी हैं. तो डॉक्टर चावला ने बड़ा क्लियरली बताया है कि विटामिन सी, विटामिन डी एंड जिंक आज की डेट में, इनफैक्ट द होल कंट्री इज टेकिंग देम. People are taking before, during, and after. Now let us see in this, and I'll ask with each step, I'll ask Dr. Rajesh Chawla to intervene. Now let's see the first defense. The first defense is the skin and mucosal barrier. And here, as far as this virus is concerned, it will be the mucosal barrier. Vitamin C, collagen synthesis. Vitamin D, formation of permeability barrier in the skin, proliferation and maturation of keratinocytes, and zinc causes cellular proliferation, that means thickness maintenance. So in a mucous membrane barrier, you require all three. Dr. Rajesh Chawla.
Yeah, so as I have already said this, that it is important in the formation of the skin. So if you do not have vitamin D along with vitamin C, the cells which are synthesized, they will not be formed, and your skin will be permeable to a lot of infection. So these vitamins make the thickness of your skin and maintain it. That is the function of the supplements of vitamin C, D, and zinc.
Now coming back to the next defense is neutrophil, monocytes, and macrophages. I have said macrophages engulfs the virus. Both neutrophil and monocyte produces gamma interferon, which अगर ये गामा इंटरफेरॉन जो मेरी बॉडी में बना, अगर ये गामा इंटरफेरॉन अगर TNF अल्फा में कन्वर्ट नहीं होता तो ये वायरस को मार देगा. विटामिन सी प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ न्यूट्रोफिल अगेंस्ट ROS induced damage, improve motility and chemostaxis, enhancing killing, overall improvement of phagocytosis. यानी कि विटामिन सी क्या करेगा, मैक्रोफेजेस को बोलेगा वायरस को मार दो, न्यूट्रोफिल्स को बोलेगा कि आप शुरू में बड़े हो चलो लेकिन आगे जाके आप इंटरल्यूकिन मत प्रोड्यूस करो 8, एंड मोनोसाइट्स को वो प्रोटेक्शन में ले लेगा. नाउ दीज आर द 3 पार्टनर्स इन क्राइम ऑफ एनी डिफेंस. ये तीनों को विटामिन सी काम करेगा. विटामिन डी हमारे यहाँ पे एंटी माइक्रोबियल प्रोटीन्स बनाएगा, फैगोसाइटोसिस को इम्प्रूव करेगा, एंड जिंक डेफिशिएंसी अगर हमारे पास है तो हमारी फैगोसाइटोसिस ठीक नहीं होगी. जैसे मैंने कहा था, अगर आपका जिंक अच्छा है तो हो सकता है वायरस अंदर घुसे, फैगोसाइटोसिस के कारण से वहीं से वायरस मर जाए और वायरस ब्लड में पहुंच ही ना पाए, एंड यू हैव एसिम्प्टोमेटिक इन्फेक्शन. So therefore there is a role of all 3 of them synergistically. न्यूट्रोफिल, आप लोग सब जानते हैं कि जैसे ही इन्फेक्शन होता है सबसे पहले पॉलीमॉर्फ्स निकल के आते हैं. मोनोसाइट्स, आप इस इन्फेक्शन में अगर आप देखेंगे तो 3 चीजें हमारे को सिखाई हैं. न्यूट्रोफिल बढ़ते हैं, लिम्फोसाइट्स कम होते हैं, लेकिन मोनोसाइट्स बढ़ रहे हैं हमारे यहाँ पे. और तीसरा हमारे यहाँ पे देखने को मिल रहा है, इयोसिनोफिल कम हो रहे हैं. सो इस सिचुएशन में, इस वायरस में आपको न्यूट्रोफिल ज़्यादा मिलेंगे, मोनोसाइट ज़्यादा मिलेंगे, मैक्रोफेजेस ज़्यादा प्रोड्यूस होंगे. और अगर विटामिन सी, डी, जिंक की डेफिशिएंसी नहीं है तो ये तीनों अपना काम करेंगे. अगर विटामिन की डेफिशिएंसी है, then these neutrophil and monocytes will produce harmful substances. Dr. Chawla.
You already explained. So basically, these are the differences. When a microorganism comes, first is the monocyte, then and the neutrophils, and they hand over to lymphocytes. And in this disease, the lymphocytes are deficient. So these neutrophils have to strong enough to protect it. So this is what, if you take vitamin, at least you will strengthen the first line of defense so that, as he said, is killed right there. It is not that if these are not there, it will not happen. It can still happen, but you strengthen by taking an adequate amount of vitamin C, D, and zinc so that the virus or the bacteria is killed right at the first line of defense.
So coming back to the next, and that is antigen presenting cells. So we talk about cytokine modulation, promotion of more tolerogenic state, induction of regulatory T cells. We know that T cells are thymus cells, they are helper T cells, and there are the damaging T cells, CD4 and CD8 cells. इस कंडीशन में जो thymus helper 1 cells हैं वो ज़्यादा important है, and so therefore for that we require a proper vitamin D dose. Now I want to spend some time with Dr. Rajesh Chawla on B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes leads to plasma, formation of immunoglobulins, formation of antibodies. And T lymphocytes, which are produced from thymus, can be a T4, that is, there can be 2 types of cells, and one of them is a helper cell, which can further be Th1 and Th2. Then it can be a non-helper cell, that is CD8 count. Now these cells are very, very, very important for cellular immunity. So therefore, in this particular condition, vitamin C will proliferate, will increase B cell, T cells. The vitamin D, control of B cell activation and proliferation of clinical importance of autoimmune diseases. Direct and indirect effect on T cell, cytokine modulation, shift from pro-inflammatory to more tolerogenic state. So remember, तीन state होती हैं, एक होता है pro-inflammatory, एक inflammatory, एक anti-inflammatory. अगर pro-inflammatory toxins को आप रोक दो और inflammation पे नहीं जाने दो, वहाँ vitamin D का रोल आएगा. And then B and T cells differentiate, and again balance of Th1 and Th2, antibody protection by B cells, destruction of infected tissue cells and tumors. So what I am trying to say is, इस वायरस के लिए रोज आप सुनते हैं कि वैक्सीन बन गया, एंटीबॉडीज बनेंगी कि नहीं बनेंगी, वो बी लिम्फोसाइट है. बट टी लिम्फोसाइट आपको बताता है कि मेरी बॉडी के अंदर में लॉन्ग टर्म इम्यूनिटी कैसे होगी. मैं एक तरीके से आपको याद दिलाता हूँ कि जैसे दो टाइप की इम्यूनिटी के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, इननेट एंड अडेप्टिव इम्यूनिटी. तो इसके अंदर में जो टी लिम्फोसाइट्स हैं वो हमारी अडेप्टिव इम्यूनिटी के लिए भी बहुत काम करते हैं. कैसे याद रखोगे जनरल पॉपुलेशन के लिए? मेरे घर में पुलिस चोर आया, मैंने उसको केस को रफा दफा कर दिया, यानी कि मैंने FIR लॉन्च नहीं करी. दैट इज इननेट इम्यूनिटी. अगर मेरी अडेप्टिव इम्यूनिटी है, मैंने FIR लॉन्च करी, मेमोरी टी सेल्स आए, उन्होंने फाइल लिख के रख ली, कंप्यूटर में फाइल बन गई. दैट इज कॉल्ड मेमोरी टी सेल्स. और जब भी कभी ऐसा ही केस होगा मोडस ऑपरेंडी से, तो कंप्यूटर से पता लग जाएगा कि मेरे को कौन सी एंटीबॉडीज को प्रोड्यूस करना है. इस सब लेवल के अंदर में हमारे को तीनों का कॉम्बिनेशन चाहिए. एंड द लास्ट थिंग इज इंटरफेरॉन. आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू दैट इंटरफेरॉन 1 एंड इंटरफेरॉन गामा, अगर हमारी बॉडी की इम्यूनिटी अच्छी है तो ये वायरस को मार देते हैं. आप लोगों ने सुना होगा कि जब पहले कहा करते थे कि एक वायरस आया, जब तक वो वायरस नहीं जाएगा दूसरा वायरस हमारी बॉडी में नहीं आएगा. दैट यूज्ड टू बी ए डिक्टम सम टाइम्स बैक, बट नॉट विद दिस वायरस. इसलिए इस वायरस के साथ में दूसरे वायरसेस आ सकते हैं. उसमें हम बोलते थे इंटरफेरॉन इफेक्ट, कि जैसे ही ये वायरस इंटरफेरॉन बनाएगा तो दूसरे वायरसेस तब तक नहीं आएंगे जब इंटरफेरॉन हमारी बॉडी में है. बट क्योंकि हम इस कंडीशन में देख रहे हैं कि इंटरफेरॉन नहीं बन पा रहे, अगर इंटरफेरॉन नहीं बन पा रहे तो हम बोलते हैं कि हमारे यहाँ पे पैरेलल इन्फ्लेमेशन का पाथवे चालू हो जाएगा. देयरफॉर वी नीड समथिंग टू प्रोड्यूस interferon in excess, and that's vitamin C. Can you comment on this, what I have said? I've just shared a slide on this. Dr. Rajesh.
Yeah, I think you have already said that the interferon is the first which will try to stop the entry there only. So vitamin C has a great role, and vitamin D, I think you should also know how much vitamin D every day you require. You require about 1,000 unit at least per day, or you can take weekly also. But for this, even if you take 1,000 unit every day, that is also all right. And it has a role in quite a bit in your immunity, in the differentiation of cells and the antibody production and the destruction of the infected tissue cells and tumors. The vitamin D has a great role. So in nutshell, there is a synergy you require between vitamin C. Out of these, vitamin C is the most important, followed by vitamin D and then zinc. So one should take these three to enhance your immunity. Whatever is enhancement, it will help you to not only to prevent, even to fight, and at the same time, you may not get it also. So it has a role in prevention, fighting, and recovery, post-infection recovery. So it has a role. So vitamin C should be taken at least for 6 months after the infection. You know, you should not stop. It's said that you should take for that much of a time, at least following this infection. Dr. Agarwal.
So let me take this out. So one thing is very clear, that there has so much of information about CADA and other things, which we still don't know the evidence, where do they work. They are effective from Ayurvedic point of view. But when it comes to modern medicine, yes, one of the supplement is vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D in preventive doses before and after the COVID, and slightly in the higher doses during the COVID. That's what it is. So I have lots of questions. Let me take few questions that will take us further. I have, how do I check my immunity power of my body? How do I check कि मेरे को कैसे पता लगेगा मेरी इम्यूनिटी ठीक है? हम लोग एज ए फिजिशियन 6 मिनट वॉक टेस्ट के लिए बोलते हैं कि अगर आप 6 मिनट में 500 मीटर चल लेते हो और 6 मिनट में आपका SpO2 फॉल नहीं होता, तो वी ओनली से यू आर फिजिकली फिट. बट विटामिन डी की डेफिशिएंसी तो बिना टेस्ट से तो नहीं पता लगेगी डॉक्टर चावला.
देखिए, कोई भी विटामिन की डेफिशिएंसी का कि आपको कैसे पता लगेगी? अगर आप स्वस्थ रहते हैं, आपको बार बार इन्फेक्शन नहीं होते, तो आपकी इम्यूनिटी अच्छी है. आपको कोई टेस्ट कराने की जरूरत नहीं है इन चीज़ों के लिए. इम्यूनिटी एक इनबिल्ट है, इन्नेट इम्यूनिटी खास करके. और दूसरी, आपको अगर जैसे कोविड-19 हो चुका है तो आपके अंदर एंटीबॉडीज हैं. एंटीबॉडीज नहीं भी हैं तो टी सेल्स की इम्यूनिटी भी होती है. काफ़ी लोगों में एंटीबॉडीज नहीं आती, उनको टी सेल की इम्यूनिटी होती है. सो क्योंकि दोबारा इन्फेक्शन नहीं होता तो वो आपके अंदर इम्यूनिटी है. बट ऐसे कोई टेस्ट नहीं होते हैं. अगर आपके नॉर्मल किडनी फंक्शंस ठीक है, लीवर फंक्शन ठीक है, आपके सेल्स ठीक है, सो आपकी इम्यूनिटी अच्छी है. आपको कोई स्पेशलाइज्ड टेस्ट कराने की जरूरत नहीं.
सर, दिस इज उत्तम कुमार शर्मा. विटामिन सी 6 महीने आफ्टर कोविड और एनी अदर इन्फेक्शन, सिर्फ कोविड के बाद है कि रेस्पिरेटरी कोई भी इन्फेक्शन से निमोनिया के बाद में लेना चाहिए?
आप देखिए, किसी भी इन्फेक्शन के लिए विटामिन सी ले सकते हैं. ये हार्मलेस मेडिसिन है, बट सारी उम्र लेने की जरूरत नहीं है बिकॉज उससे साइड इफेक्ट्स हो सकते हैं. सो कोई भी इन्फेक्शन हो, यूजुअली पहले तो हर एक इन्फेक्शन में विटामिन सी दिया जाता था. अगर किसी को कोल्ड होता था तो कोल्ड की प्रिस्क्रिप्शन में इट यूज्ड टू बी वन ऑफ द constituents of giving vitamin C. For any kind of a respiratory infections, the vitamin C can be taken, whether it is a upper respiratory or a lower respiratory tract infection.
शमशाद अली पूछ रहे हैं कि एलर्जिक डिसीजेस का कोविड से क्या ताल्लुक है? आई रिमेंबर यू सेड वन स्टडी कि एलर्जिक अस्थमा में कोविड ज्यादा खतरनाक नहीं होता. कैन यू एन्यूमरेट दैट?
हमने यूजुअली पिछले 6 महीने से we've been treating COVID-19. We haven't seen कि एस्थमा का मरीज में जब कोविड हुआ तो उनका एस्थमा बिगड़ गया या ऐसा कुछ हमने नहीं देखा. सो उनमें भी वैसे ही प्रेजेंट करता है जैसे कि किसी और व्यक्ति में प्रेजेंट करता है. डेफिनेटली अगर उसकी इम्यूनिटी कम है तो और उसको उसके सिम्टम बिगड़ जाते हैं, वो किसी और व्यक्ति की तरह ही बिहेव करेगा. बट जिनको माइल्ड सिम्टम्स होते हैं उनको कोई कभी नहीं देखा कि हमने उनका एस्थमा बहुत बिगड़ गया हो. अपनी नॉर्मल दवाइयों पे ही वी हैव बीन एबल टू कंट्रोल देम.
क्या विटामिन सी प्रेगनेंसी में ली जा सकती है? जिंक, विटामिन सी एंड विटामिन डी.
Vitamin C, I think, can be taken. You all may be knowing more about this.
They're normal. There is no contraindication of vitamin C, D, and zinc in pregnancy. In fact, they should be taken. उसके साथ में जो है, and many people are asking about this dosage. How long we should take during the sickness? Before, during, and after. I think the answer
Before,
is
during, and after, yes.
Yes. इसके साथ में, let me take two. Natural source of zinc, sprouted things. Anything which is sprouted, anything which is, जिसको भी आप sprout बना देते हो, that is natural zinc. And people are talking about this combination available in the market, which is vitamin C 500 milligram, zinc 5 milligram, and vitamin D 400 IU. तो ये हम एक लें कि दो लें?
At least one is enough, I think.
So one tablet as a prevention is good, unless during the COVID, sometimes we give high dose vitamin C. There is a protocol of even giving vitamin D high dose for 3 days and continue your normal dose of vitamin D. People even give 60,000 per day for 3 days during COVID. And that is based on high dose at that particular time. what are the symptoms of vitamin D deficiency otherwise?
विटामिन डी डेफिशिएंसी के ऐसे कोई स्पेसिफिक सिम्टम तो नहीं होते, but bone pains, if you're having a bone pains, a young patient having a bone pains, probably you look for your vitamin D. And if your skin is having a problem, all the functions which these vitamins protect, if there's any deficiency, you should look for that vitamin D.
क्या मैं सिर्फ विटामिन सी ले लूं मेरा काम बन जाएगा? आई थिंक डॉक्टर चावला ने बड़ा क्लियरली बताया है that their drugs are synergistic to each other. जैसे हम दाल चावल लेते हैं, दाल अकेली और चावल अकेले नहीं लेते, दोनों के अमाइनो एसिड्स मिलके synergistic एक्शन लेते हैं. तो यू डोंट ईट कि पहले दाल खा ली फिर 1 घंटे बाद चावल खा लिया. तो उसी तरीके से when you combine vitamins, they are synergistic to each other. So C, zinc and D are synergistic to each other. Yes, this is the question Ajay Kumar Yadav. This is based on my observation. So Rajesh, I have seen one observation is that on day 1 or day 3 and day 10, if the CRP is more than 10, you have significant immunoinflammation. If day 1 CRP is more than 10, you know that you are heading, that means already it's a very severe inflammation. On day 3, if it is more than 10, and I have a number, and that 10 is that on day 3, if CRP is more than 10, you have a mild pneumonia. Do you have any observation like that?
So we haven't made an observation like that, but CRP definitely is when the CRP, ferritin, D-dimer, high levels, if they persist, they have been, particularly when they are high on presentation, definitely there is a increased chances of worsening in that patient. They have that much of a relevance, but it doesn't make changes in the treatment of these patients. And the other thing which I wanted to say here, I don't know what is your opinion. A lot of people have started taking steroids even from the first day. I think that kind of should be discouraged. I mean, a lot of people are there who are talking about the COVID-19 because we are talking in the era of COVID-19. The steroid should not be started from the day 1. I mean, you should wait. If the oxygen is low, then definitely you should start. If oxygen is not low, then probably you should not start. That's what I wanted to say. I don't know what is your opinion on this.
I normally take the criteria of CRP. So there's a lot of literature which says that steroids started if the CRP is more than 10 is equivalent to hypoxia. So therefore, I'm saying that number I'm saying is if the C-reactive protein is more than 10, invariably they have pneumonia. And if you have pneumonia, there is an indication for reducing the inflammation because you need to PLAV2, you need to suppress tissue necrosis factor, specifically if you are a high-risk individual. So I've seen a lot of literature coming in. They have given a number of either CRP of 26 or 10. And the latest literature is if the CRP is more than 10, and these are the patients, you are not giving here steroids for the purpose of, you are giving them steroids to reduce IL-6 so that they don't end up into a clot. Another thing which I feel is that if you don't want to give steroids, suppose I agree with you, don't give steroids. But then I will start with dabigatran on day 1 in high-risk individuals. All doctors, I recommend that they should start in dabigatran on day 1. That's one. Number 2 is when you give a day 1 steroid on Bell's palsy, why do you give it? Why do you give a steroid on day 1 on Bell's palsy? Why do you give steroid why do you give a steroid in heavy doses of steroid if the patient presents with transverse myelitis as the first case, as the first presentation? So therefore, it is related to inflammation. You are talking about hypoxia. Hypoxia will only come if inflammation is associated with thrombosis. You will not see hypoxia. Happy hypoxia, you will not see unless there are clots. And that clot formation takes another 24 hours. So first there is an inflammation. Then that inflammation leads to angioneogenesis. That will cause happy hypoxia and formation of, that means clots have formed. So I'm talking about if you want to act early, the criteria for me is CRP of 10. And then I'm saying it with CRP of 10. On 10th day, if the CRP is more than 10, I continue the steroid. That's the way I am managing OPD patients, not the admitted patients. In an OPD patients, we are following this sequence that a combination along with a good immunity, it makes sense.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Agarwal.
रोग प्रतिशत क्षमता बढ़ाने के लिए कौन सी प्राकृतिक चीज का उपयोग करें? So I normally say IL-6 is naturally suppressed by estrogen. Estrogen के ऊपर में है phytoestrogen which is soya, and haldi is for TNF blocker. So हल्दी वाला सोया आप खा सकते हो, प्राकृतिक चीजों के लिए आप खा सकते हो. What is the maximum dose of zinc? Maximum dose of vitamin C and maximum dose of vitamin D. There are 3 questions. Zinc 5 से 100 हम 5 मिलीग्राम से लेके मैक्सिमम डोज कहाँ तक जा सकते हैं? डॉक्टर चावला?
Yeah, you can go up to 50 milligram and vitamin D 1000 and vitamin C 500. That's the usual preventive dose. In treatment, you can give a little higher dose to these individuals.
Then he says is, what is the role of vaccine? Should we wait for the vaccine?
I think that is for some other time. Once the vaccine arrives here and then.
No, there is one thing he's asking is, can we take Immuno C+? Immune C+ is what? That vitamin C 500, zinc 5 milligram, and vitamin D 400. Is it safe for renal transplant patients? Renal transplant के अंदर में CKD patients में role of nutrition क्या है?
See, vitamin C can easily be given even in these patients, and the lower dose doesn't have any side effect even in these patients. 5 milligram is not much, and 1000 milligram of vitamin D is also not much in these patients.
So एक सवाल पूछा है डॉक्टर अंबलकर ने, उनका सवाल है कि एक बार वायरस मेरे शरीर में आ जाए तो इम्यूनिटी कब तक चलेगी? Dr. Ambelkar, remember we have T cell immunity, we have B cell immunity. There are 2 types of, सबसे पहले एंटीबॉडीज होती हैं 2 टाइप की, एक होती है न्यूट्रलाइजिंग एंटीबॉडीज, दूसरी होती है नॉन न्यूट्रलाइजिंग एंटीबॉडी. तो हमारे शरीर में न्यूट्रलाइजिंग एंटीबॉडीज जो हैं वो 2 महीने 3 महीने लास्ट कर सकती हैं, बट दैट डजंट मीन इम्यूनिटी लास्ट फॉर 2-3 months. इट्स लाइक पुलिस आपके घर में तैनात हुई, आपने पुलिस सिक्योरिटी मांगी, उन्होंने 3 महीने के लिए पुलिस सिक्योरिटी दे दी, लेकिन अगर आपकी फाइल पुलिस में बनी हुई है, FIR लॉज्ड है, यानी कि टी सेल मेमोरी के अंदर में जो मेमोरी टी सेल है वहाँ पे आपकी फाइल खुली हुई है, तो अगली बार चोरी होगी तो इमीडिएटली पुलिस आपके पास में दोबारा आ जाए. सो आज की डेट में हम लोग कई सारे केसेस यहाँ देख रहे हैं जहाँ पे व्हाट वी आर सीइंग इज कि ए पेशेंट हैज एंटीबॉडीज प्रोडक्शन 120 है मान लीजिए उसका, एंड सडनली ही गेट्स ए URI एंड सडनली ही इज गेटिंग सम फीवर and suddenly we are seeing his antibodies now becoming 400. So is it a reinfection? We have no answer, but theoretically yes, it can be. Next time the reinfection हुआ, antibodies एकदम से 125 से कम होने के बदले 400 हो गई. So therefore antibodies how long will last will depend upon your T cell immunity, and that will again depend upon C, zinc and D. अगर आपकी बॉडी में विटामिन C, जिंक की और विटामिन D की डेफिशिएंसी है, आपको वैक्सीन भी उतना काम नहीं करेगा, वायरस भी, बॉडी की इम्यूनिटी भी अच्छी नहीं होगी, और आपकी एंटीबॉडीज भी लास्ट उतनी देर नहीं करेंगी जितनी देर में करनी चाहिए. तो बिफोर आई क्लोज दिस मीटिंग, आई विल आस्क राजेश टू सम अप 5 points, 2 points each on vitamin C, zinc and D.
See, vitamin C has definitely a very important role in prevention, during treatment and even after treatment, in enhancing our immunity and fighting the infections. Similarly, along with the zinc, the vitamin D, they all act synergistically, because vitamin D, as I said, it has an important role in the B cells and T cells. That's a very important role in there, and they're enhancing the activity of these cells and killing the virus. So vitamin C, zinc and vitamin D, they act synergistically to prevent as well as fight the infection in you. And it should not be taken continuously all your life. It should be taken vitamin C maximum of 6 months after the disease. And as a preventive measures, at least the daily recommendation, whatever is there, you should take it. And 500 milligram at this time is not much. One can take that much of an amount.
भगवद गीता का जो चैप्टर 2 का लास्ट श्लोक है, that basically talks about अंतकाले, and it talks about that whatever you think, whatever your immunity is at the time of your death, whatever is your status of the mind is at the time of your death, you will be born with that particular mind. I personally don't believe, because people will say कि ठीक है मरते हुए immunity ठीक कर लूँगा. For me, every moment your cell is dying, a new cell is appearing. So therefore, probably Bhagavad Gita talks about cellular death and cellular immunity and cellular happiness. Therefore, at this particular moment, your 6 trillion cells, each cell requires a cellular immunity, so that when the cell dies, the new cell which appears is not deficient in any of the micronutrients, and that should be able to prevent replication of the virus. It may be able to produce it as a barrier in the virus. Remember, once the virus goes inside the body, the virus enters my body, it finds a receptor binding domain, enters the body, there is a fusion membrane, it fuses, it releases RNA. RNA releases ORF1A, ORF1B, and then it produces RDRP, then it replicates. Instead of waiting for RDRP, that means anti-RDRP inhibitors, which are, we have both the drugs, favipiravir and remdesivir as a RDRP inhibitors. That's fine. These are all available. But if you can increase your innate immunity and adaptive immunity, why not? And for that, make sure that your nutritional supplements are complete. There are many such supplements. Today, we have basically talked about C, D, and zinc because they are synergistic with each other. They can prevent, they can increase your power to fight the virus, and they can also help you in bringing your immunity early and long-lasting immunity. They will also be required if a vaccine comes. And if you are in fear, ये दोबारा वैक्सीन दोबारा इन्फेक्शन होएगा, आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, मेरी एंटीबॉडीज रहेंगी कि नहीं रहेंगी. In that particular situation, you have two alternatives. One alternative is that you take a combination of supplements, which one of them is C, zinc, and D. Second is that we are debating as a scientist about the role of thymosin alpha. That means there is a site that as you have andropause and menopause, there is also a cytogenic pause. That means your immunity is low. Can we have a thymus extract or a thymus hormone for that? So these are matters of debate. One thing which is not debatable and one thing which clearly comes from Dr. Rajesh Chawla is that we need supplements before, during, and after. Start it from today, continue it for 6 months after you get the infection. Let me thank Dr. Chawla to be here with us.
Thank you
and
so
all
much.
my viewers. और वो मेरे सारे व्यूअर्स जो इस प्रोग्राम को देख रहे हैं, अगर आपको लगता है कि आपके पास और भी सवाल हैं, तो आप फेसबुक पे, मेडटॉक के यूट्यूब पे आप या मेडटॉक की साइट के ऊपर में डाल सकते हैं. We will be happy to answer them later. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you. Thank you.